In this movie, I'll show you 3 different ways to move an image from one document into another as an independent layer. And the reason we're doing this is we need to give the Pegasus wings, and those wings are coming from this photograph here. Now, method number 1 is the most obvious, but it involves the most steps. First, you go up to the Select menu and choose the All command, or you can press Control-A or Command-A on the Mac. And that's going to go ahead and select the entire image like so. Next, you go up to the Edit menu and choose the Copy command, or you can press Control-C or Command-C on the Mac. Then, go ahead and switch images and return to the Edit menu and choose the Paste command, or you can press Control-V or Command-V on the Mac. And that results in the independent layer that we're seeing at the top of the stack. And that brings up a point, by the way. Anytime you move an image from one document to another, it always appears in front of the active layer. So if I was to press the backspace key or the delete key on the Mac to get rid of that new layer, and I were to click on the horse layer to select it, and then return to the Edit menu and choose the Paste command, or once again, you have that keyboard shortcut of Control-V or Command-V on the Mac, then I would paste my new layer in front of the horse. All right, so that's not really where I want it. In fact, I want it to be not at the top of the stack, because in that case, we'd end up with this low color image right here. I want it to be black and white, so I want to move it behind the B and W layer. And so what that means is, were I to press the backspace key or the delete key on the Mac in order to demonstrate another method for moving images, then I would want to make sure that the brushwork layer is selected, because the new layer needs to appear in front of it. All right, now method number 2 is a little bit obscure, but it can prove useful at times. You start inside the image you want to move. You want the image to be deselected, so I'll go up to the Select menu and choose the Deselect command, which has a keyboard shortcut of Control-D or Command-D on a Mac. And I will tell you that both of these first 2 commands in the Select menu are very common, so it's worth memorizing their shortcuts. Next, you want to switch to the Move tool, which you can get by pressing the V key, remembering that the V is an upside-down arrow. And then, in the most recent version of Photoshop, you want to drag the image like so. Don't release. Instead, move your cursor above the Title tab for the document into which you want to move the image. And that'll go ahead and switch images on the fly. Then move your cursor back into the image window and release anywhere you like. And that'll go ahead and move the image to your drop point. Now, if you've never done this before, it is a little bit tricky, so I'll go ahead and demonstrate that process again. I'll press Control-Z or Command-Z on the Mac to get rid of that new layer. I'll switch back to my Sandhill crane right here, and then, once again armed with the Move tool, I'll drag the image. I'm keeping my mouse button down. I'm moving the cursor over the Title tab for my horse and silhouette document. Then I'm moving the cursor back into the image window, and I'm releasing anywhere I like, in order to bring in the crane on an independent layer. And once again, it appears in front of the formerly active layer, brushstroke. And as a result, the bird turns black and white, in keeping with this adjustment layer. All right, now let's take a look at method number 3, which is the best way to work if you don't care where the image arrives horizontally and vertically. If you just want to center it inside the image window. In that case, I'll switch back to this image here. It's pretty off center, so I'll just go ahead and press Control-0 or Command-0 on the Mac in order to fit it on screen. And then I'll go ahead and switch back to the rectangular marquee tool. Now, 2 things to know about this tool. First of all, you want to always bear in mind that it has a keyboard shortcut of M for marquee, and that's because it is the most useful tool inside Photoshop. And the reason that's true is because if you right-click with this tool inside the image window, you get the best context-sensitive commands, the ones that you use on a regular basis, including Duplicate Layer. So once again, right-click with the rectangular marquee tool, choose the Duplicate Layer command, and then change your destination document to that file that you're working on. In my case, it's Horse and Silhouette, and then click OK. Now, initially, nothing's going to seem to happen, and that's because you have to move over to the receiving document. After which point, I'll go ahead and rename this layer Wing Number 1, let's say, and then I'll press the Enter key or the Return key on the Mac to accept that change. And then finally, I want to reposition this layer a little bit. So I'll press Control-0 or Command-0 on the Mac to center the image, and then I'll switch back to the Move tool, and I'll drag this guy up and to the left until it snaps into alignment with the top left corner of the document. And I know I have a snap because I can see those magenta guidelines. after which point I'll just go ahead and release my mouse button. And those are the 3 ways to move an image from one document into another as an independent layer here inside Photoshop.